right, it's on. Good afternoon. This is Michael Schulz. This is Tuesday, July 7th, 2020, and this is a meeting of the Architects and Engineering Examiners Board Nominations Committee. If Mr. Thompson, if you would give us a call to order, we will follow that up with a quick roll call and then a statement of necessity.
There, sorry, I had my mute button on there. Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Thank you. I would like to call the meeting to order today of the nominating committee.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. And very quickly, we'll run down Susan Ballard-Gribble.
Here.
Mr. Robert Campbell, Jr.
Here.
Rick Thompson.
Here.
And Mr. Ben Brachada. Okay, noting Mr. Brachada's absence. And we can go ahead with a statement of necessity.
Yes, this is Maria Bush. I'm the attorney for the board. So I'm just going to read our statement of necessity. This is a scheduled meeting of the Tennessee Board of Architectural and Engineering Examiners Nominations Committee, which is taking place by electronic means utilizing the WebEx teleconference application on Tuesday, July 7th, 2020. Notice of this meeting was posted to the board's website on June 22nd, 2020. As there is not a physical quorum present, a statement of necessity will be read into the record and filed with the Tennessee Secretary of State as required by statute. Pursuant to TCA 8-44-108B2, if a physical quorum is not present at the location of a meeting of a governing body, and in order for a quorum of members to participate by electronic or other means of communication, the governing body must make a determination that a necessity exists. That determination must include a recitation of the facts and circumstances on which it was based. Further, TCA 8-44-108A3 defines necessity as matters to be considered by the governing body at that meeting require timely action by the body, that physical presence by a quorum of the members is not practical within the period of time requiring action, and that participation by a quorum of the members by electronic or other means of communications is necessary. As stated, this is a regularly scheduled meeting for the Tennessee Board of Architectural and Engineering Examiners Nominations Committee. The purpose of this meeting with members attending by teleconference is to address the nomination of board officers. All voting will be conducted by roll call. And that's all I have.
All right. Mr. Thompson, would you like to start us off with any new business nomination of officers?
Well, I would like to just kind of give a real quick statement on how we
Did we lose Rick?
Yeah, I think we did.
Okay. And I see Mr. Brachada has joined us. Mr. Brachada, we're not using cameras today.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll just take a minute here and see if we can get Rick back on the line.
Just for the record, this is Maria. I got kicked off the call as well, but now I'm back.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, this is Rick. I don't know what happened. I just my phone just went dead. Sorry about that.
Oh, and I'm sorry. I apologize for jumping in, but this is Don Baltimore. I just want to let the record reflect. I'm just listening as a representing Tennessee interior design education and advocacy. So I'm just quietly listening.
Hey, Don, how are you?
And I hope everyone else is.
Good, good, good. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened there. This is Rick Thompson again. Yeah, I was just gonna kind of go over a couple of quick things. And as we know, our current chair, Blair Parker, is rolling out, and our vice chair, Brian Tibbs, registered architect, would be. How we've done this typically in the past is that we would have an architect, engineer, and what we would refer to as an other registered member of the board, which would be a interior designer or a landscape architect or public member. And we've had all the members represented as chairman or chairperson of this board over the years. So currently, the way we stand is the incoming chair would be, if nominated, would be Brian Tibbs. Our incoming vice chair would be Ricky Bursai, and we have not. I don't remember if we had a previous nomination for our secretary, and of course, the floor is open for nominations, but that's typically how we've done this, and that way we get a good representation of each one of the professions as we move forward from year to year. So does anyone, Robert, Susan, anyone have a comment on that, or would like to clarify any of that information, or anybody for that matter?
No, I
This
think
is
that's
Susan.
well put.
Oh, go ahead, Robert.
No, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
So the situation being that since I'm rotating off the board, technically I already have, we don't have an interior designer identified to move into secretary's position, and it wouldn't really be appropriate to nominate someone even if they'd just been to one board meeting. I think we need to go with an engineer as the secretary position, and that will give Ben an opportunity to be on board a whole year and the next interior designer. And since Blair has just completed his 3 years in the office ranks, I think that's our next option at this point, unless we nominate another architect. So, Robert,
Well,
take it over.
Yeah, Susan, I have just a slightly different thing on that. I mean, I think Ben, we've been a public member, that would give him a couple years on the board and certainly be very much in tune with what's going on to be able to be chairman here in a couple years. And so that kind of helps us stay somewhat in a rotation too, because I think the last public member that was chairman was Mr. Borden. I mean, shoot, is that right? Wilson.
I believe so. I believe you're right.
And then I think Pat Wood's wife, crap, I can't remember her name, was one of the years before that. So
Brenda Wood.
Brenda, yeah. So my thought is, since Ben's been on here, about 3 months, well, 4 or 5 months, I don't know exactly how long Ben, but certainly in a couple years would be well in shape, and that way that gives your interior designer or landscape architect an extra year to get acclimated, which it takes a little time.
Right. And that's assuming. Now, of course, Susan, we know you're rolling off, but that would assume that Blair Parker is going to be rolling off. I know his term has expired, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's not going to continue as a board member. So, and Robert, you make a good point with Ben. We have had some really good chair people from the public sector as a public member. I'm looking at the term expiration dates now on screen, and Frank Waxter has his term expired in 6/30 2019. And given, I guess, the election and a variety of other crises now that are obvious, that Frank, his reappointment or someone's reappointment has not really been on the front burner. But given that Frank's been on the board this long, he will serve, of course, as long as he wants to serve until the governor reappoints him or appoints someone else. So, and in the past, we've also wanted the potential chairperson to have a couple of years under their belt. So that makes perfectly good sense to me, Robert. I'm not sure if you want to put that in a motion, or should we discuss any other candidates right now? So,
my only question is Ben willing to do that? I reckon is my other question.
Yeah, that was my next question. We need to get some input from Ben. We're just making a lot of assumptions, so let's let him have a minute on the speaker.
Okay, I'm not
it's in
sure I
there.
quite understand what you're saying about me, so can you kind of say that again?
Well,
So Ben, would you be willing to serve? Go ahead, Robert. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Ben, typically we rotate through the chairman position, and what we're talking about is nominating you for secretary, which would be secretary, then vice chairman, then chairman here in a couple more years or something. We've had public members as chairman, and they've done an exceptional job, and make sure that we kind of rotate it through architects, engineers, and the other members of the board, so that it doesn't just become an architect and engineer one after another thing. And so my thought was having you as the third in line, gives you a couple years to kind of get your feet wet and see what you want. But again, it's up to you. That's
Okay, what are the responsibilities of the secretary?
I don't know. Just be ready to go in case the other two get snuffed out, I reckon. I don't know.
I mean, do you actually take
They're
minutes
also
of the meetings, or?
No.
They're responsible for Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay.
You don't
Yeah.
take notes. Notes are taken for, everything's on video.
Okay, I'll go along with that.
Yep. And of course, if the chair or the vice chair are not able to do their duty, the secretary would obviously be the next in line to run the meeting or something like that. But yeah, the staff they do all this, the recording of the minutes, and like Susan said, we just need kind of a clerk of the works when it comes to Robert's Rules of Order. If it's really, we haven't had that many issues with Robert's Rule of Order. We have our attorneys are present, and so it's a position of learning, I would like to say, and just so we'd love to have you on board if you're willing to do that.
Okay, I'll go along with that.
Well, then I'll make a motion that Ben be our secretary, Ricky Bursai be our vice chairman, and Brian Tibbs, right?
Yes, yeah, Brian Tibbs
will be our chairman.
I second the motion. This is Susan Ballard.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We have additional discussion. Any other comments, discussion regarding the proposed slate? And again, the floor is open if someone else wants to nominate themselves or anyone else for that matter. So.
Move the nomination cease.
Amen.
All right. With a
we have a
nomination,
motion.
excuse me, I'm sorry.
No, I just said we have a nomination and a second, and we've had discussion.
All right.
Would you like to call roll?
I will do so. Mr. Thompson,
Aye.
Mrs. Ballard Gribble,
Aye.
Mr. Berchata,
Aye.
Mr. Campbell.
Aye.
The motion has passed.
Outstanding. It's a good deal. Ben, we forgot to tell you about some of the other responsibilities. No, I'm just kidding.
You have to show up to every meeting.
What about
Yeah,
snacks?
yeah.
Wasn't there a snack option in there?
Yeah, there's a snack option. We need some fruit and good strong coffee. Those are just minor things, you know.
Oh,
Robert, you'll run that training mission, won't you?
yeah. I know how to get snacks. There's no question about it.
Outstanding. Outstanding.
Hey, quick question, since we've got Michael on the line. I think the governor came out with a new thing. Are we looking at possibly having our August meeting online as well, or WebEx or whatever?
I'm sorry. Would you say that one more time?
Sure. That when the governor came out with his new, like extended some of the order, did that mean that we probably will have our next board meeting online as well, or?
There's a strong possibility the governor's guidance has been extended to the end of August.
Okay.
So at this point, that's what we're operating under. And all scheduled meetings to take place within that time frame will be digital.
Okay. Okay. Very good. That's what I assumed, but I just thought that might be. I want to make sure. Okay.
Okay. Well, is there any more business before this committee meeting?
Just wanted to clarify one thing. The August meeting is on Thursday, is from 9 to 12.
Let me pull up my calendar here real quick. 9 to 12 sounds right, but I'm looking for a confirmation for you.
That looks right. It's what I've got Eastern time.
Yes.
9 to 12 Eastern?
Well, it may be. I may have it in Central, the wrong time.
Yeah, it should be Central.
Should be Central, correct.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay.
This is Maria. On the website, it says 8 a.m. But, I mean, we could change it to 9. I think that's what we did last time.
Okay. We will make that change to reflect on the website.
And that's on the 6th, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
That'll be 9 to 12 Central, and we will make that change on the website today.
Okay.
Super.
Okay. Are there any further questions?
Anybody else?
I think so.
I'm good.
Michael, do we need a motion to adjourn, or can I just adjourn?
Let's do a motion just because we're on electronic.
Okay.
Robert's rules of order said we need to do a motion.
Okay. Would someone like to do that motion?
I make a motion that we adjourn the nominations committee meeting. This is Susan Ballard.
Second.
Robert, you will second.
Robert, second. Okay. We
All
have
right.
a motion and a second. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. You may have to do a roll call.
Let's go ahead and do the roll call just so we
Okay,
can put a name with an eye.
My apologies. My apologies.
No worries. Mr. Thompson,
Aye.
Mrs. Ballard Gribble,
Aye.
Mr. Brickta,
Aye.
Mr. Campbell.
Aye.
The motion is passed. Thank you all very much for your time today.
Very good.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you for not taking 2 hours, Robert.
I love to hear your voice, Rick. You know I do.
I love you. I love
I
you
wish
too,
I wish
brother.
I could see you on camera.
I know. I'm sorry. All
All
right,
right.
everybody.
See y'all.
stay
Have
safe.
good weeks.
Thank you all.
Thank
Have a
See
great
y'all.
week.
Bye.
Goodbye.
All right. Bye.